no crowns, no thrones, no kings. That's what this victory represents. It's a victory for the people of the state of California and the United States of America.
In our politics lead, that is Gavin Newsom, California's Democratic governor and a possible 2028 presidential hopeful, who scored a major win last night after voters in his state overwhelmingly approved his effort to make 5 U.S. House districts more favorable to Democrats. This is in direct response to Texas Republicans redrawing their state's congressional maps mid-decade in hopes of moving 5 House seats to the right ahead of next year's crucial midterm elections. Here now is the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta. He's a Democrat. So Attorney General Bonta, thank you so much for joining us. Yesterday, while voting was still underway, President Trump posted on social media the following, quote, "The unconstitutional redistricting vote in California is a giant scam in that the entire process, in particular the voting itself, is rigged. All mail-in ballots, where the Republicans in that state are shut out, is under very serious legal and criminal review. Stay tuned." Do you have any idea what legal review or criminal review he's talking about?
Not at all. And just rantings that are hard to follow, no basis in law or fact that I'm aware of, but consistent with for him to be criticizing the proposition, criticizing vote by mail generally, vote by mail in California, the elections in California, a blue state that has not supported him and has firmly rejected him multiple times when he's run for president. So not aware of what he's referring to. We haven't seen any evidence of a criminal investigation. Maybe chalk it up to wild rantings, but maybe we'll see something in the future, but not aware of anything now.
We should note that President Trump has voted by mail in the past. He votes in Florida. And he does not, he generally speaking, has voted, well, he's voted by mail. A group of California Republicans, they've already filed a federal lawsuit challenging this new map, arguing it, quote, violated the 14th and 15th Amendments to the Constitution when it drew new congressional district lines based on race, specifically to favor Hispanic voters without cause or evidence to justify it, unquote. What's your reaction to the Republican lawsuit?
This is another lawsuit in a litany of lawsuits, all of which up to now have been firmly rejected by the courts, none of which have had any traction, any legal basis, and all of which have been dismissed up to now. We'll see what happens with this one, but I will say the people of California voted. They voted loud and clear, overwhelmingly. Trump was not on the ballot, but he was on the ballot. His specter loomed large. This was a referendum on Trump. People want affordability. They want lawfulness. They want the Constitution. They want democracy. I think that their voices should be upheld, and the will of the voters should be honored.
Last night, during his victory speech, Governor Newsom called on his friends, meaning Democrats, in Virginia, Maryland, New York, Illinois, Colorado, to, quote, meet this moment, meaning he wanted redistricting mid-decade done by those states as well. Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley, who you know from California, he opposed Prop 50. He's pushing back. Here's some of what he said in a social media post. Take a listen.
It's a race to the bottom that degrades democracy everywhere. It's both a symptom of our country's political divisions and a troubling new trend that is sure to make that division even worse.
Is he wrong?
No. Maybe this is an area for bipartisan collaboration. If Congressmember Kiley wanted to author a bill that required every state to have an independent redistricting commission, I bet there'll be a lot of Democrats that get behind that. California had one. It was the right thing to do, but we can't have unilateral disarmament where we're tying our hand behind our back and allowing others to manipulate the process and create more districts. It needs to be the same rules for everybody. And Governor Newsom is asking other states to meet the moment to neutralize the abuse of power by gerrymandering in red states. That's what Prop 50 was about, to neutralize the 5 districts created in Texas.
I asked former Governor Schwarzenegger, Republican governor of California, about that basic argument, the idea that Texas started it. And he said, that's not true. I'm going to spare you my Arnold impression.
Thank you.
He said, that's not true. I mean, if you look at New England, which votes Republican 40% of the time, they have literally not one Republican House member. His argument is there isn't independent redistricting. It didn't just start with Texas doing it mid-decade. There has been a lot of gerrymandering forever.
I don't disagree with Mr. Schwarzenegger on the fact that gerrymandering exists. It has definitely existed in the past, definitely in red states. But Prop 50 is a direct response to Texas's redistricting. You can put aside whatever happened in other places at other times, and I don't deny that there has been gerrymandering. But that's what Prop 50 is. It is the response to the Texas redistricting that President Trump asked for and Governor Abbott agreed to.
So last night, Governor Newsom also had this warning about President Trump and next year's midterms. Take a listen.
Donald Trump does not believe in fair and free elections, period and full stop. If you think I'm exaggerating, consider his announcement just a few weeks ago to send rapid response teams all across the United States, in all 50 states, tens of thousands of members of the military prepared for urban deployment. A preview of things to come.
Are you worried about these election integrity fights becoming actually partisan and hindering actual votes?
Not the fights, but the federal government's interventions. They are purporting to send election monitors into states, but they're being sent by a president who has tried to interfere with elections in the past, asked the Secretary of State in Georgia to find him 11,000 plus votes, has found by a congressional oversight hearing and by a court to have been part of an insurrection to overthrow a lawful national election. He issued an executive order that we struck down because it's unconstitutional, trying to create a citizenship ID requirement and not have vote-by-mail ballots counted if they were cast at a certain time. He's weaponized the U.S. Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. So we have to see the context within which he sends these monitors. But we send our own observers to watch their monitors to make sure they do only what they're supposed to do and nothing else, to stay in their lane and not interfere with our elections.
And did they?
We didn't have any events that we were reporting yesterday. Maybe it was the deterrence of our observers watching them, maybe not. But I thought it was, that old phrase, an ounce of prevention is better.
All right. California Attorney General Rob Bonta, thank you so much. How will Democrats be able to use the issue of affordability in next year's midterms? That was obviously a huge problem for Democrats last November with Kamala Harris and before her President Biden not being able to compellingly make an argument that Democrats are on the side of bringing prices down because inflation was such an issue during the Biden years.
Look, Jake, I don't think we should wait for the midterms to test this. I think folks need to do the work every single day, including the folks who were just elected last night, to be able to rein in costs. That's one of the reasons why in Pennsylvania we've tripled the value of our child care tax credit to make child care more affordable. We passed the first tax cut for seniors in more than 20 years. I've cut taxes for small businesses twice in Pennsylvania. We're putting more money back in people's pockets and trying to reduce costs. The problem is we've got a president of the United States who pushed that tariff button and is raising costs, making it harder for our farmers, making it harder for folks who run our small businesses to get by. So I don't think this is an issue, Jake, we should wait for the midterms on. I think this is an issue right here, right now. We've got to deal with the affordability crisis that Donald Trump is making worse, and we've got to put policies in place, and executives have to take actions in order to alleviate the burden on people in our respective states.